13 News Now begins with breaking news.
And we're following breaking news out of New York City. At least 7 people are dead and several are injured. This after a rented Home Depot van drove onto a bicycle path in Lower Manhattan. Police say the driver got out of the truck screaming and displaying 2 fake guns. Officers then shot the man. He's in custody. Officials say this is being investigated as a possible case of terrorism. President Trump has been briefed on the situation.
3rd prison worker has died after the escape attempt at Pasquotank Correctional Institution. Wendy Shannon, a correctional officer, died last night at a hospital.
2 other employees, Veronica Darden and Justin Smith, were also killed after inmates allegedly attacked them and set fires in the prison on October 12th. 13 News Now reporter Jimmy Lee is live in Pasquotank County. And Jimmy, we could see new charges.
That's right, Janet. The district attorney will be seeking yet another indictment of first-degree murder for the death of Wendy Shannon. And keep in mind, there is someone still in the hospital. And if he passes away, these inmates could be looking at a 4th indictment for first-degree murder.
We will proceed to grand jury.
These 4 inmates, all indicted by a grand jury, are now facing yet another indictment for first-degree murder. Yesterday morning, the men were each indicted on a slew of charges, including 2 counts of first-degree murder for the deaths of Veronica Darden and Justin Smith. But later that evening, Correctional Officer Wendy Shannon, who had been in the hospital since the attack on October 12th, died from her injuries. District Attorney Andrew Womble says a grand jury will meet on December 4th to indict the inmates on a 3rd charge of first-degree murder. But there is a possibility of a 4th first-degree murder indictment. That's because maintenance worker Jeffrey Howell is still in the hospital in critical condition.
We certainly don't want to end up having to do a 4th indictment. We hope that Mr. Howell makes it.
The new developments further complicate this case. The DA's office now has the task of deciding to seek the death penalty. In the past 5 years as district attorney, Andrew Womble has only sought the death penalty once. It's a decision that can't be taken lightly.
We vet these cases and make sure that objective decisions are being made about how we treat these cases.
In the meantime, investigators are still gathering evidence, and the DA's office will have to strategize before the case goes to trial.
We will be looking at the different ways of trying this case, and certainly trying them one at a time is one of those possibilities.
And the difficult task here is keeping this case here in Pasquotank County. This is a small, tight-knit community, and many people here are connected to people who work at the prison. So selecting a jury will be very tough. Live in Pasquotank, I'm Jemmy Lee, 13 News Now.
Some outraged parents and students in Chesapeake after the school board unanimously approved a rezoning plan that will change the lives of students at 6 schools. Part of Hickory Middle School's attendance zone will be moved to Great Bridge Middle and Hugo Owens Middle. Students from Great Bridge Middle will move to Hugo Owens, and some students from Hugo Owens will move to Deep Creek Middle. Finally, part of Hickory High School's attendance zone moves to Great Bridge High School. High school students can stay at their current schools through graduation, but they must find their own ride. These changes will take effect in September. So why is this happening? One reason is to try and even out capacity differences. At the end of last school year, you see the graphic right there, Hickory Middle School was at 126% of capacity, while Deep Creek Middle was at 60%. But many parents disagree with the new plan. 13 News Now, Allie Weatherton is live in Chesapeake, where she spoke with angry parents.
David, being upset is just an understatement. These parents say they moved to the area, bought homes in certain neighborhoods, even spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on homes so their kids could go to the best of the best schools. And with the meeting last night, they say it simply isn't fair. It's a feeling of frustration.
There's nothing worse that you can do to a parent than say the decision is not yours when it comes to your child.
On Monday night, the Chesapeake School Board unanimously voted to rezone 6 schools in the district.
And we purchased this home amongst all the other ones that we looked at was because it was in the school district for the elementary, the middle, and the high school that we wanted.
It's the same scenario for Marguerite McNair. She moved home so her 11-year-old daughter could attend a special program. It's a program that's crucial to her learning because she has autism.
We sought out a school district where it had the lead program in each step, each school system, and we would be in the same community of kids.
But now her daughter is in limbo, not quite sure which school she'll attend next fall.
They could move the program to Deep Creek Middle, or they could redo the numbers where the need is for the lead program, and it could be a school that's 10, 15 minutes away from us.
And that means her daughter may have to change routines and make new friends.
I think she's going to regress. I think she's going to regress socially and academically.
I reached out to the school. A spokesperson told me they need to assess the programs like McNair's daughter attends. They'll look at the enrollment, the space, before determining where exactly the program would be located. Now, many of these parents say the fight is not over for them. They want to continue to keep pushing for the zoning to stay the same. I did reach out to the school district. They say the decision made last night will stay the same. Live in Chesapeake, Allie Weatherton, 13 News Now.
All right, happy Halloween. We hope you stay safe while trick-or-treating tonight. Here are a couple of Virginia laws to keep in mind. First, it is illegal to wear a mask if you are older than 16. You could face a felony charge for that. There is also a decades-old ordinance banning children older than 12 from trick-or-treating. Police don't normally crack down on offenders, but they have been known to issue warnings.
1 week to go until Election Day in Virginia, and things are heating up on the campaign trail and over the airwaves. Mike Gooding spoke to one political expert about the effect of all those negative TV ads.
Well, Janet, the ads, they're pretty much inescapable, and love them or hate them, that may just be the idea. In the Latino Victory Fund ad, minority children are frightened in a nightmare as they're chased by a pickup truck with a Confederate flag with an Ed Gillespie for Governor bumper sticker on the back.
Is this what Donald Trump and Ed Gillespie mean by the American dream?
Meanwhile, the Gillespie campaign has been running a series of commercials that tie Democrat Ralph Northam to MS-13 gangs and to a sex offender.
John Bowen had his rights restored 2 months after being found with one of the largest child pornography collections in Virginia's history.
The ads themselves, you don't see a whole lot of positive ones anymore. They're primarily kind of negative mudslinging ads, and they're ratcheting up in this last week before the election.
Old Dominion University political science assistant professor Ben Molesky says such ads are a fact of life.
In some cases, they can mobilize the electorate, right, in your favor, right? If you put a negative ad out there that fears or frightens or brings up some controversial information, it can mobilize the electorate to come out against that candidate. But they're also a double-edged sword. You can, if you go negative, you could have the electorate come backlash against you.
So what have the two candidates themselves had to say about these commercials? Plenty. Today, Gillespie went on Fox and Friends to denounce the Latino Victory Fund ad, saying its arrival makes for a sad day for Virginia, adding that commercial is a new low in politics here. Not to be outdone, Northam has weighed in on the Gillespie commercial linking him to the child pornographer. In an ad of his own, Northam called the Gillespie commercial despicable. Reporting live, Mike Gooding, 13 News Now.
Well, Virginia is moving closer to decriminalizing pot. James City County State Senator Tommy Norment asked leaders to study the issue. Now we're getting a look at that study. It uncovers key questions about how the state would decriminalize pot, such as what amount would be civil versus a criminal offense, and what would be decriminalized: leaf marijuana, oils, edibles. Lawmakers now have 3 options. They can leave the laws the way they are, remove jail time as punishment, or decriminalize small amounts of pot and make it a civil penalty.
The Dismal Swamp Canal is back open to boaters today under restricted conditions. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers closed the canal a year ago because of extensive damage caused by Hurricane Matthew. It took crews until March to clear more than 350 trees from the waterway. Canoes and kayaks will be allowed back in the canal in August.
Could a flood zone be coming to a neighborhood near you? The latest changes to the maps of areas most likely to flood happened this year. Reside in a higher risk flood zone and you're required to pay flood insurance. But some experts say the maps have yet to keep up with the growing threat of sea level rise. Still, homes that were once in the clear are now the target of extremely high flood insurance rates. It's Mike Vernon's business to help homeowners reduce their premiums, and he's finding more and more people need help.
We're sinking. The Gulf Stream is slowing down, which is pushing water on top of us. The weather patterns are changing and sea level is rising. And so when you combine all those factors, resiliency in Hampton Roads needs to be a major topic.
Now, one real estate agent tells us finding homes outside of flood zones is getting a little more complicated and is only going to get worse.